Good evening to any and all parties watching this video across the fullness of time and space. We are going to be playing some late night Minecraft. It's pretty late where I am as well, and in the game. This is a wonderful game. I've been playing it for many, many years. And one of the modes I play it is that whenever my friends and I get together, at the very end of the night, they always want me to play Minecraft, while they all doze off into various comas. And I thought, at this point, after many requests, I would record myself playing the game and put it up somewhere so that they could always have Nestor on demand to play Minecraft. This is a great game. I quite like it. And I don't mind playing it like this. It's nice and relaxing. We're going to be doing some building today. This is my personal world that I've been playing for about a year now, on and off. I haven't played for a little while, but this is a good way to get back into the swing of things. There's a zombie somewhere. It doesn't matter. So, what are we going to be doing? We are going to be expanding my little ocean empire here. Now, whenever I make a world, I like to mostly just build in it. I've never killed the Ender Dragon. Maybe I will one day, but that's not really what I'm here for. I'm here to build Ozymandias-style monuments to digital eternity. And I guess that's not even a really good word or descriptor for it, because I really don't care. I just want to build things. And that's what we're going to do today. Now, I've gotten a bunch of blocks assembled. We're going to put some stuff away. I do not need this. I don't need this. And I don't need random gravel. Of the things I need in the world, random gravel is not one of them. Now, let's get going. So, in the fullness of time, I will probably show more of this world. There's really not much to show beyond what you've already seen, but there's a little more out there. I've got a quarry in the back, but right now we are heading out to the build site. Now, as you can see, I like building lighthouses. It's nice. I didn't really intend to build a bunch of lighthouses out here. I just wanted to build one tower, and then I just sort of wanted to build more. But today we're not going to be building a lighthouse, or at least not at first. Because today we're finally going to be adding a little bit of variety to this build beyond that kind of coastal lighthouse building we just came out of. Today we are going to be building a dock. It's going to be, I guess, a mid-sized dock. I'm not really sure. I'm just going to see where this takes me. A lot of the fun of building in this game is its freedom. The fact that you can really take it wherever you want. And in survival Minecraft, it's great because it's very Sisyphean. You can always build more, and therefore you always need to mine more, and you always need to get more resources, and eventually you will just have to keep rolling that boulder up the hill every single time. It's kind of great. It's a great loop. I like the gameplay loop with this. You build, and then you go get more resources, and then you build, and then you go get more resources, and then you build, and then to spice things up, you might get some more resources. And then, really to shock the world and yourself, you build. And then, in defiance of all things, you collect resources, etc. Now, what I'm doing right now, I guess to walk you through the build process, is I am thinking of having a central big raised platform kind of building on this island. And then I was thinking of maybe expanding it out where there's just sort of docks in every direction and boats attached to them and boats not attached to them. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a fairly large foundation. And we're going to use this island as its base. Now, let's see. Let's see. Now, for those towers over there, I've used stone brick as the foundation. However, after a recent, shall we say, kerfuffle in the nether, I no longer have my silk touch pickaxe, and so smooth stone is actually no longer as easy to get as it was before. It's kind of sad, isn't it? It makes me sad. And also, I wonder if it might be nicer to start with a sort of darker color for the base and build up to lighter stones. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with deep slate bricks, and we're going to add some oak log accents to it. I think that would be wonderful. I don't know what you think. You can't speak to me. I'm just speaking by myself. So, really, this is a very one-sided conversation, and I am sorry you cannot participate in it. But at the same time, at least I get to choose really easily. Now, I've already put out a little frame here just while I was thinking, and as you can obviously see, I am not going to keep it because, while deep slate is great, regular cobbled deep slate is a fairly, I wouldn't say bad, but it's mediocre, which you may say, Nestor, I'm looking at mediocre builds right now. That sounds like your perfect block. And I understand, but sometimes these things are a matter of taste, regardless of poetic congruence. Now, we're just going to keep building. I think this is good. Now, also, I understand. One of the most boring things you can do in Minecraft is build a big box. Unless I suppose it's a really big box. Then that might be mildly interesting. But we're not building a really big box. We're just building a semi-big box. A moderately sized, mostly small box. And I get it. That's boring. But we're going to be adding some other stuff to it. You're just going to have to bear with me. You may have to bear with me for an extended period of time. I'm not really sure how long these first videos, this session will be, per se. But we're just going to kind of go until I am satisfied with the progress we have made. Which I understand after the metaphor I just made about Sisyphus. How could I ever hope to achieve progress? I think the answer I'm going to have to give to that is, well, whatever, dude. We're just going to go. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I am adding sort of towers to each bit. I know, towers. But I am wondering if this might be a good sort of base for a boardwalk that would go around this whole area at the same height as that boardwalk. That would lead into the docks. It would kind of like, you'd step down into the docks. And there would be one bit of the boardwalk there that would lead very slowly, winding its way over here. with the idea being that I want it to be vaguely believable that ships could pass through here. Now, obviously, ships, unless they're very small, can't really pass through that area there because the bridges are too low to the ground, and even the bridge that's really high up, its supports are too close together. So that is a no-go zone for our pretend shipping lanes. But since this is a dock, we want to have it be conceivably accessible to shipping. And so we're going to go for that. We're going to go for that illusion. Forgive me, I'm probably going to have to walk back over there to remember how many blocks I put down here. That seems appropriate. Let's see. I did 3 and 3. Let's see about this. That is 2 and 2. That makes sense. We're going to do 3 and 3, actually. That gives us a little more room on these things. We are going to run out of deep sleep very quickly, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll just go and get more. That's the great thing about having a quarry, is you don't really need to go digging somewhere to go get more deep sleep. You can just go down into the pit that you have already tunneled into the earth and get some deep sleep. It's nice. The other great thing is that the sun is going down and there is no bed anywhere near us. But we are in the ocean. We don't care. Even beyond things like drowned, I don't think I've really been bothered by them at night out here. Which is interesting. I'll be honest, I don't actually fully believe myself when I say that. Have I been? I don't know. I'm concerned. Oh, well. Well, we're going to keep going like everything's fine, as is, the way of the world, and we will see. All right, now, a couple things you might have noticed from this. 1, this is kind of bare bones. And 2, it's going to be a little difficult to get enough deep sleep to create this as an actual solid box on all sides. And that's well spotted. And we are not going to do that. Instead, what we are going to do is we are going to add a second row of bricks, and then we are going to add oak supports with, of course, brick stair additions. Yep, I knew I shouldn't have trusted myself. That is a drowned. Well, I think I have an idea. It's a very simple idea, and it's to go sleep in a bed. There we go. Goodbye, drowned. I won't miss you. I don't think I hurt his feelings because he didn't hear me. It's hard to tell. He is also a mob creature in the hit video game Minecraft, so I'm not sure he has feelings per se. Right. I do like this these builds at night. You may be asking yourself, why are 3 of these constantly switched on and that one off? It's for a very simple reason. I am awful at redstone. Oh yeah, and because these things don't work at a certain render distance. There we go. So this one's actually working properly. Oh, they're all working properly. Or at least those 2 are. Yeah. So they're supposed to flash. But what will happen is that they will get stuck on, and I will have to deal with that. So we're gonna go deal with it right now as an illustrative point. Very, very simple way that I deal with these things. Don't mind this. This is a zombie villager that I hope to one day cure. I recently got blaze rods. Finally, it took me a very long time, and A lot of grief to find another fortress, but now I can cure that guy. So here we are. So this is a pretty simple redstone circuit. It's just supposed to be a signal that goes in a loop and is kept at bay by repeaters so that only certain sections of this go on at a time. However, it has a bad habit of catching up with itself. The signal does, I mean. And when the signal catches up with itself, it runs perpetually. And so it's just stuck on. And so the way you deal with this is you just break it and place it back immediately. I apologize for the flashing lights. Yeah, you can see there that it's going doot, 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 doot. That one, it was a little cramped in the top of the tower, and so I put a very, very basic clock in, and so the whole circuit just pulses on and off. We are going to have to take a similar look at this tower, because I am pretty confident that it is stuck on like the other one. Here's our nether portal. I'm sure you've already noticed. I quite like this position for it. It gives it an air of gravitas, which, you know, the nether portal kind of deserves. It's the only portal that you can create and put anywhere in this game. So the end portal already has its own stronghold and everything, so why not give the nether portal a place of honor? Oh, of course, and here's everything. That's the quarry, that's sugarcane, mostly live underground there. My starter base was underground, as all good starter bases are. Now, let us go and grab something that I have been missing from that little island. I should have thought of it before, but I am really rather fond of stone cutters in this game. They are really good. I don't want to have to steal this one. Oh, no, I don't need to. Okay, good. They are really good. I can't recommend them enough. Because not only do you not have to bother crafting stuff like slabs and things all at once, you can just put the blocks in and shift-click to your heart's desire. They also are really good for conserving resources. So it takes 6 blocks to make 4 stairs, traditionally. That's the way it's always been. When I first started the game, that's the way it was. With this thing, it's a little cheaty, because you can just put in a stack of 64 stone brick, and shift-click that stairs button, and get 64 stairs. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. It has never been a 1-to-1 ratio. And so you really feel that extra increase in stairs, because stairs used to be expensive. You feel that extra. I mean, that is what I'm sorry, I can't quite do math on the fly here, but you're losing 6 and you're only gaining 4, so that's 2 for every transaction that you're doing. Say you do that transaction, 20 times, you've lost 40, that kind of thing. You do it 32 times, that's a full stack of stone bricks that you've just lost. So it really, really adds up. So I can't recommend enough using the stone cutter for this kind of thing. Hi, Drowned. It's nice to see you. I guess I did hurt his feelings. Oh, and I'm drowning too. Oh, man. Alright, I gotta give some context to this. I had some of the best gear I've ever made in this game. It was the first time I had ever actually bothered to mine out netherite to get a full set of netherite gear. And I had a respiration helmet. I had like depth strider boots and stuff. It was perfect for working on these underground things. And I am going to have to really get used to the fact that I do not have a lot of breath to work with anymore. It's very, very disappointing. Yeah, I thought the Drowned was I thought he was still hitting me, or I thought there was one behind me. No, that totally caught me off guard. Yeah, I am going to have to deal with that. Oh, that's unfortunate. On the bright side, this is a build that, unlike many of the other ones, is going to be mostly above water, I think. Yeah, mostly above water. Of course, you know, I'm doing a lot of underwater things right now, but you kind of can't avoid that with these. There we go. Oh, actually, that's hollow, isn't it? No, it's not. Why did I think it was hollow? Oh well. Right. Pick block. Great command. Fantastic command. Not just good and creative. But it is good and creative too. They really updated the creative menu recently. I don't play creative like at all, but I checked it out during the April Fool's update, and you can spawn like mob spawners and stuff now. It's really good. It's basically the old Mo items mod, but just vanilla. It's I would say a major improvement, and really kind of gratifying to see, because it didn't make sense as to why you couldn't get some of that stuff. Why could you not get mob spawners in creative? It's interesting. I suppose it gave those blocks a sort of gravitas to them, that you could only access them from naturally generated sources, but at the same time, it's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to deny players that kind of creativity just to have a block be special, because they've already done that in so many other microcosm ways in this game. Cocoa beans used to be, and by extension cookies, used to be a prestige item because you could only get cocoa beans in dungeons. And I always thought it was a good joke because they're a prestige item, but cookies are some of the worst food in the game. The saturation is awful, and they give you almost no hunger bars. So I was quite impressed by that. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I really enjoyed the humor from the game there in making one of the most obscure and hard to get food items completely useless. It was pretty funny, but alas, it was also, you know, kind of bad game design a little bit. Where, you know, if it's hard for the player to get, theoretically it should be pretty good for the player to get. One would hope. Of course, that's not necessary to the game being good, and, you know, subverting that kind of expectation is what made that so funny. But, you know, it's not that funny. It's just kind of a gag based off of the realities of how, I don't know, kind of bare bones the game was back then. Another great example was Mossy Cobble. Mossy Cobble is a little bit better than cookies, and that Mossy Cobble actually looks good. And it looked good back in, like, you know, early Minecraft days when it was still all, you know, here, I'll give you a demo. I use Faithful. Faithful is a pretty good mod pack, or sorry, resource pack. I've used it for years now. But yeah, back when the game looked like this. And even worse than this. This is actually, they've kind of cleaned up the pixel art here. Yeah, oh, the UI is very chunky. Oh man, I haven't played on this mode for a long time. Huh. Well, anyway, back when the game looked like this, Mossy Cobble, a pretty nice looking block. It was ugly in really high quantities. But if you used it sparingly and kind of as a prestige thing, because, you know, you went to a dungeon, you found it, you mined it all out, it was a nice block. It wasn't spectacular, but it was sort of one of those things where it was like, yeah, you can only get this in the specific way in the game. And I'm pretty sure that it was in creative in that mode, but you couldn't get it otherwise in survival. And so it lent it an air of gravitas. If someone had like a full thing of mossy cobble, they had spent a lot of time getting all that mossy cobble. And, you know, does that reflect well on them? I don't really think so, but it did back then. So, I don't know. Mossy cobble is it's an interesting case. It's an interesting case for this stuff. And so, yeah, it's interesting to see, you know, mob spawners be readily available without modding. It's a creativity tool, and if you can't be creative, then why is it there? Why is it limited? So, yeah, why not put them in the same way that now you can get cocoa beans from jungle wood really easily, and you can create, you know, mossy cobble, mossy stone bricks, cracked stone bricks. You can make all of those now. You don't need to worry about finding them in a stronghold or a dungeon. So it makes it a lot easier to be creative with this stuff. Of course, you may notice that I am not using any cracked. I don't know if Deep Slate actually has a cracked version, but even if it did, I wouldn't be using it because I find it kind of muddles things a little bit. It has, you know, dangerously close to making my designs actually interesting looking. But that's okay. You know, through hard work and dedication, anything can be boring. And that is what I hope to achieve today. Thank you very much. Anyway, we are going to change our resource path back because I would like to have Faithful going. Programmer art is great, but it's really not very good compared to Faithful, at least to me. I find Faithful to be the way I like to play Minecraft. Of course, you know, others will have other preferences, but for now, this is mine. Man, I am really feeling lack of the respiration helmet. You know, also at the same time, I'm going to do what I did last time, and I'm going to continue working through the night. But I'm also going to do what I did last time, and wow, that was impressive. Impressive block placement. Really, really impressive. I've got to be happy with that. I've really got to be. I mean, incredible block placement. Anyway, I'm going to keep working through the night, and like last time, if I am assaulted by drowned, I will immediately turn tail and run, because that's what cool people do. That's what the brave do. Is they run away, screaming, typically. So, there we go. All right. So I will fully admit, right now, I'm not wholly in love with this. It's a little plain still. I'm gonna give something a go, and that is the supports I was talking about. When I mentioned supports initially, I actually was not referring to the corner stuff. That was just something that I thought of as I was looking at the corners. I was actually referring to something like this. Yes, I was referring to a tiny log-based L. No, I was not. I was referring to something like this. That's a little better. But I will admit, word to the wise. You want a cheap and easy way for things to look good in this game. You gotta give them depth. I don't care how. Okay, I kind of do care how. Like, we could... Ooh, maybe. I'm kind of interested in this now. Let's see if we can add, like, a band of slabs. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, if you want to make something look good in this game, it is a good idea to add a little depth to it. You don't have to add tons of depth to it, although generally the more depth, the more, I don't know, I think it looks generally appealing. Of course, You can't just like brute force it, but tasteful depth, the kind of depths that give it the impression of being less a real thing and more that kind of fantastical reality, irreality that like a well-made like theater set has. You know, the impression of reality, while at the same time you are very aware that it's not reality, and you don't care. You just don't care. It's not important, but you're still having a good time. It communicates to you. It communicates that this isn't just a flat wall. It's a wall, and then there's a brace to it going across it, which, you know, I think adds a little bit more to it. Now, of course, it's just a silly block game, and you don't need to think too hard on these things. But to really, I enjoy the level of planning and creativity that this game allows, and a situation like that is one such scenario where you can do something and then immediately kind of shift gears a bit and try to account for, you know, real or imagined design flaws. And what's kind of funny about this game is that, you know, real and imagined design flaws are kind of the same thing, unless you're designing like a mob farm or something to keep mobs out, or something a little more in-depth and mechanical in this game. When it comes to the aesthetics of building, I'm afraid everything is in the eye of the beholder. So perhaps the best way to be a good builder in this game is to simply not care. Yeah, I think that would be that's a pretty good option. It's not the option I'm going with, but it is a pretty good option. I suppose every builder goes with that option at some level. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't really watch like Minecraft builders for too many ideas. There's of course Etho. He's classic. Been watching him for years. And he, you know, similar advice to what I just gave. Yeah, depth to buildings. But he just kind of builds randomly. You know, with a plan, sort of. But he likes to feel out his buildings. And to use the word repeatedly, I guess at this point, since I've explained it too much, little to no comedic effect, I too like to feel things out. And I get that feeling. I'm actually not really sure where I was going with that, because that really was not even approaching a comedic, I don't even know, a comedic entity of speech. I mean, I hesitate to use a word as strong as joke. Oh well. Anyway, to get back to what we were doing, we were running out of deep slate. That's very nice, very cool. I like it when I run out of deep slate. Of course, I'm playing that up for hyperbole. I do, in fact, not enjoy when I run out of deep slate. It is greatly annoying. Anyway, let's see. I'm tempted, I admit, I am tempted to just start with stone on the top here, just to kind of use up some resources before I have to go back. I think we'll give it a go. We'll try a little bit of stone brick. Oh, and of course, this is this is a pretty good example of it. So chiseled stone brick, pretty cool looking block. Back in the day, and this is, I don't know how long ago, I really have lost track of Minecraft's updates, but back in the day, before stone cutters at the very least, you could only get chiseled stone bricks in one particular part of jungle temples. And I don't know about you, but jungle temples are kind of hard to find. Desert temples, you just run through a bunch of deserts. But it's kind of harder to run through a jungle. And I feel like jungles are a little rarer. and jungle temples are a little rarer still in said jungles. So it's uncommon, I'd say, to run into jungle temples. I have before, but they are not a dime a dozen like desert temples are. But back in the before times, when you had a hankering for chiseled stone bricks, you had to find a desert temple, or a jungle temple, I apologize, a jungle temple. And in one section, the sticky piston section, where you had the 3 levers to pull out and then reveal the chest, which I always thought was hilarious, because this is the game where you can mine blocks. Who is going to do that puzzle when you can just mine the blocks around it? It is, in fact, how you say, not really relevant at all to care about a lever puzzle. It's like it's an old 2012 adventure map or something. Honor rules, no mining. But it's like, dude, I don't care. So again, the tangent. Anyway, bear with me here. I'm kind of feeling this out right now. Anyway, so to get this chiseled stone brick, you would have to go to this temple. You'd have to go to the lever section, and there would be 3 blocks, 3 whole blocks of chiseled stone brick, and that was it. That was all you got. And if you wanted more, you would have to go find another temple. So if you wanted a stack of 64, ooh, I mean, you would have to go to, well, 20 temples would be 60, so, yes, would be 60, and then 21 would be 63, so you have to go to 22 desert temples to get a full stack of chiseled stone bricks, which is something that I personally did not do. I understand. I apologize for the dereliction of duty from my past self. I really dropped the ball there on the whole going and finding 22 jungle temples for a full stack of chiseled stone bricks, but I admit I simply did not do it. I suppose I could have, with enough time, patience, masochism, and frankly, a lot of luck. I guess I could have done it, but, you know, it just doesn't matter. And so, yeah, so when you did find your 3 chiseled stone bricks, by God, you were going to put them in some special places, because you had 3. Maybe 6 if you were really lucky. And so, you know, it's interesting. I don't think it's bad, but I think it's interesting that we just have them now. They are simply available. Also, this is not working for me. I mean, the corner like beams are okay, but whatever this is not effective. I am not digging this. Well, okay. I am literally digging. Figuratively, however, there is 0 mining happening. I am not excavating this concept in any capacity. It just looks kind of pissy and ugly. We're gonna have to see about how we're gonna put this all together, because this sort of corner here is asking to be a gross mess. So we're going to have to see if we can find a way to get around that. Well, I think for starters, just start with stone brick. Stone brick, on top of that, interesting. It gives the impression that this is waterlogged almost. But it's not really very seamless. I have these just around. Stone brick. So if we did something like this, something not dissimilar to this. We could add, say it with me, depth to this structure. Now, of course, it's easy to say that this is adding depth, but I don't know about you, but I am staring at a gray wall. It doesn't really matter how much depth is in here, to be honest, because it's just gray. I think this might go a little bit better. This might work a little bit more if instead of doing depth where it's, you know, 1 block in, 1 block out, 1 block in, 1 block out, we go 2 blocks in. So we're going to go like this, and then what we are going to do is we are going to, yeah, that might work. We're not going to, I don't know what it means in terms of verbiage to, but we're going to do something similar to this. This might give us a little more block. A little more, that doesn't mean anything. A little more, I don't know. Yeah, a little more je ne sais quoi. In the truest meaning of that phrase. Because I actually don't know. Maybe the other way around. Now, the idea is that we're just building a platform up. It's just a platform that goes up. And then we build the whole little building on top of that. But you don't want your platform to be boring. That would be dreadful. I won't lie to you, I like that better. I like that better a lot. I like that better a lot. Me good English speak. Me am very good English. So, that is mostly acceptable in my eyes. However, definitely there's something more that can be done, and I think I know what can be done. Most critically, I can't get up here. That's what can't be done. I am going to have to sincerely and seriously consider a way to get up here from the water. You may have noticed that is a central theme of those towers. They all have at least one little bit to get up. Even that far one. I know that far one looks like it doesn't have one, but on the back it has a little dock at sea level. And I even have a little ladder along the boardwalk over there to get up about halfway there, just because I know it's a long walk. Now, yeah, okay. So, yes, I was thinking of doing something like this. And then we would have a similar. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Oh, actually, I kind of like this idea. Okay, so what we're gonna do is it's gonna be a little castle-like, and I know those are already very castle-like, but this is gonna be castle-like in that it's got sort of like iron bar windows in otherwise very dingy hallways. So this is going to still be a platform. This is still the base of the thing, and you know, it's mostly solid, but I kind of like the idea of having this line here, and then instead of bringing it along and sort of overpowering the whole design with this big stripe, you sort of keep the solid going here. You keep this uniform. It breaks it up a bit. But instead of having it be super boring in that it's a solid brick wall, you put a little window in here. Now, of course, I understand entirely. Relatively speaking, less boring. This is still all gray and a little bit of brown. But it's kind of the theme I'm going for. And I always enjoy this sort of castle palette, so this is the way it goes. I understand people like building with, you know, clay and terracotta and that kind of thing, because it gives a little more zest. But I'm just kind of not really someone who's ever really done that. You know what I do think we could do? I was just thinking, because I wonder if it's kind of my old school tendencies that make me not want to use new blocks like that. One block that is still a little, okay, it's gotten really easy to get, and that's why I might use it, but was also a prestige block back in the day is bricks, because bricks were really annoying to make, because you had to go and find clay patches in every river possible and then smelt it all, and then you would get barely any bricks out of it. Now, of course, I have a mason villager that I can just buy bricks off of and create bricks, but you know, I admit I think that a sort of dark red pop might be appropriate for something like this. I haven't used bricks in any of my other builds, but I'm kind of digging the idea. So let's give that a go. We are going to put a chest down here for our resources. Stone bricks, etc., etc. Garbage. Gotta have garbage in there. No Minecraft chest is complete without garbage. There we go. And what we are going to do is we're going to go get some more resources. So we'll take a look at getting some brick, and we'll take a look at getting some more deep slate. And as you'll see in my chests, I have enough stone to last me a long time. So that silk touch pickaxe loss, while I do mourn my netherite gear and my loss of the silk touch pickaxe and respiration helmet and depth strider boots and everything had bending on it, of course, at the same time, I will survive. I will be okay. And it really doesn't matter too much. Of course, I am, you know, trying to make myself feel better, but still. At some point, you just have to accept the cope. Right. Now, it feels kind of odd. I feel like things haven't... I don't know. The Faithful is different now after I did the little... after I did the... Yeah, it is. As if something is off. Something is very off. Not video settings, resource packs. Interesting. I mean, it's an old version of Faithful, but I've never had a resource pack change like that before. Fascinating. All right, so let's just have a little demo of how easy it is to get brick now. Dude, I know you're sleeping, but nope, not anymore. Thank you. So yeah, that is a full stack of brick, just like that. Of course, that's a lot of emeralds, and that's still not a lot of blocks. So, you know, it's still a rarity. And the other problem is that brick is kind of hard to build with. I admit, old block, pretty tacky looking. So you have to really be kind of careful with it. How you use it, when you use it, that kind of thing. How much you use it. Ooh, smooth stone is always great. All right. Another block. That's another block where you just could not access smooth stone back in the day. You could do double smooth stabs, double smooth slabs, but I guess it's more purple for this room. Anyway, you could do double stone slabs stacked on top of each other, but you could not get that smooth block. You could not get that. That you had to access through commands or more items. But now you just have it. It's just, you just smelt a block of stone and there it is. Yeah, I could walk there, but I already have 2 boats here. So let's sail over. I like to have one boat either side of this little ocean, so I can have the option of boating or walking across whenever. Um, it's nice. Of course, it's not critical to maintain that balance, but I do it anyway. Right. Glass? No. This is a smelter hopper array. However, I am in constant need of XP in this game because I am always enchanting my gear to try and get it to be the very best. And so the XP loss from mass smelting was something that I actually kind of mourned a little bit. And so I disconnected this thing, which is a shame because there's a lot of iron in these hoppers, but whatever, it happens. If I ever have a true mob farm, not the rinky-dink thing I have that I might show at some point, this might come back into use in a larger and industrial scale, but for now, it is a reminder of what I'm working towards, I suppose. Anyway, let's take a closer look at here. Yeah, we'll take that. Mud bricks. Big fan of bricks. I haven't really found a use for mud bricks. I should, though. They're good. At least I think they are. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. We're going to go get some deep slate. Secret painting. Always classic. Always a classic secret painting. This is to get down. That's to get down to the mob farm. But yes, I love secret paintings. They're great. Oh, I guess I can point this out. So farming is it's nice in this game, pretty easy. Here I've just done a really basic, just 3-pen thing where chickens in the bottom, sheep in the middle, and then as you can probably hear, cows on top. And then actually, I forgot, I added a 4th tier where I have pigs at the very top. So we can go take a look at them. Where do the Y's in this game? For some reason, if you put a carpet on your fences, or walls in this case, you can jump on it and get over the fence. And the animals can't. As you can see, I don't use pigs for food. I use cows because leather is also nice to get, but I should breed these up just for security's sake in case one of them dies in a random creeper accident. Although I have them up high like that, so that doesn't really happen. Anyway, we are going to get some deep slate. So, let's see. Cobbled. Oh, okay. Well, I admit, I thought I was going to have to go mining. Nope. I'm good. All right. Well, anyway, let's take a look for here. Yeah, we're going to get some more wood, by the way. As you can see, I only had about a 32 stack of logs left, which I admit what I'm building is basically nothing. Kind of a tragedy, I know. A little bit wasteful, but it's true. It's basically nothing. So we're going to have to mine a little bit more. Really basic tree farm here. Oak trees are some of the least temperamental saplings in the entire game. You can put them in any arrangement, and as long as there's enough light and there aren't like blocks directly above the sapling, and I mean like not leaf blocks, but like blocks, they will grow. And so I always just plant them in a line. Pretty simple. They all grow together. Because while I do admit you can plant them all in just a block, and so you just get a solid block of logs. What you do not get out of that equation is many saplings. It's very difficult to constantly replace that block because you're losing a lot of leaf coverage. I find this method is the best of both worlds in that you really don't have to bother with too many leaves, while at the same time still having enough that you will get saplings back. Now, ordinarily, I would sit here and do other things around here while I waited for the saplings to spawn. But I think I am going to just unload these chunks, and when I finish this session, I will come back here and I will just check it out and replant everything, of course. Because otherwise, you know, your tree farm doesn't work very well if you don't replant it. Pretty obvious, but bears mentioning, I suppose. Let's... You know, I always hear zombies just randomly. I don't really know where these guys are hiding, but they're around. They are around. Another thing to mention, I suppose, I like building. You know, I really don't do interiors very well. I think at some point I'm gonna, you know, slow down a bit and try and add an interior to all of my buildings. Because, you know, right now they're kind of boring. They're a little boring. I've added a patio here, of course, because, you know, no building is complete without a patio. But yeah, there's nothing in there. There is nothing in there. Oh, and this reminds me, it's iron bar time. Let's get some iron real quick. Oh, there it is. Plenty for me. And yep, that's good. All right, let's run over there. You can see very off in the distance, there's the dock for that building. Same vein, I don't know if you can spot it from here. It's pretty, yeah, it's fairly visible. That tower does have a purpose, actually, and that is that it gets me very close to a water temple without actually having to get zapped instantly. So with the use of that, I have a route directly to the seafloor, and I can just skirt right underneath it and then dig myself up into the temple. And I gotta say, having sponges is pretty great for building in the ocean. When I made this tower, I did not have them, and I had to empty out the basement by hand. And if you are unsure how that works, it involves placing a block on every single water source block, which is the entire space down there, and digging it back out. So, you know, there are worse things to have to do in the world, but it's not great. So being able to just place blocks and have them instantly delete all of the source blocks around them is very convenient. It's very convenient. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Sponges were another thing that's just have been in the game for forever, but you just couldn't get them. And if someone had sponges, you knew they were cheating. You knew they were cheating because you literally could not get them. Anyway, we're back. We have returned. Okay, so we're gonna pause on that for a second, and we're gonna try and build up. Actually, we're not gonna pause at all. I think for now we are going to build up this side as a template for the future. And by future, I mean the other three sides. And ideally, this means that we will do all of our experimenting in one place, and then have a pretty easy time expanding it outward. Okay, very interesting. That is my shovel. So, my thought process here is that there's three ways to go with this top row. You can do stone brick, you can move back to deep slate, or you can do brick. Now, there are advantages and drawbacks to all of them. Stone brick is very simple, and it also, block texture, changing color, and changing block texture. If you put brick there, it's just another different texture and another different color. It gets kind of busy at that point, especially when this is so mundane in comparison. So actually brick is probably out. But stone brick might be nice in that you go same color, but you go back to that texture. Alternatively, and what I think I'm probably going to do, is that it might be nice to kind of reflect this pattern here, where you have slate, and then slate all the way down. So slate in the middle, and then at the bottom, it's all slate. So what we might do is we might put a row of slate here. We might keep another row of stone brick here, like we have, and then put another row of slate on the top. Now, the problem with that is that it might look a little squished. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple layers. Look, we're going to put a layer of stone brick, and then a layer of chiseled, and then another layer of stone brick, I think. Or, sorry, another, and then put the deep slate layer. Yeah, that sounds good. If that was utterly incomprehensible, which I totally understand if it was, then I am just going to have to say, with my deepest condolences, bear with me. And hopefully you should be right there with me by the end, and it will all work out. Right. Here we go. Like that, and like that, and not dissimilar to this. All right. So, block of stone brick. Inoffensive, but boring. Here we go. Block of this, chiseled stone brick. And then, of course, we go directly into deep slate. And then after we get into deep slate, we are going to, let's see, yeah, so deep slate, and so it's still going to be brick like this. We're still going to be dealing with brick. But right on top of it, there's got to be chiseled brick. Pick block. Great command. Great command. Always remember to bind your pick block. I have it to my middle mouse button. Very helpful. Of course, I don't use hotkeys or anything, so I'm hardly, as you would say, optimized, but, you know, things like that are still very helpful. And then we're going to put this in to add, say it with me, depth. Now, what I'm thinking, I don't know if you're thinking it, but I'm thinking it, is that I will use the bricks as an accent at the very top. So I'm going to put a lip of brick around everything as a cap. And that should work out just grand. It should give it all a nice feeling of being, it should really help discern the top from the bottom, I guess, with this. You know, there's a layer of brick, and then there's the building on top. So let's take a look at how this appears. It's a bit of a citadel. It's a bit of a citadel. It looks a little prison-like, but it's the base of a dock. And my hope is that, yes, it looks very prison-like right now, but you won't be seeing much of this, at least not obscured, because there's going to be a lot of wooden scaffolding in the way. A lot of ships, a lot of wood scaffolding, a lot of docks, that kind of thing. And so having this be here will kind of give it an impression of being almost a little ancient, a little established. All this wood scaffolding has been built up on top of this, you know, this monolith, this rock that everything has been built on top of. Yeah, that's not bad. Now, of course, very reasonable criticism of this is that it's unbalanced. Why is the wood there? The wood is kind of clashing. And there might be a way to deal with that. Now you could do bands of wood. So we could replace that with the band of wood. And we could put a band of wood there and a band of wood there. I'm going to say let's try it. I was about to dismiss that idea outright, but I admit I am curious. Should try it. Give it a go. Give it a go, just for the sake of it. Right, so we just take it around like this. Of course, we'll have to adapt this to everywhere else, but for now, this is a nice place to be. Right, so that's step one. How does it look at step one? It looks ugly as sin at step one. All right, let's see if it looks ugly as sin at step 2 and 3. Because if it does, we will just have to move on and see about maybe just getting rid of the wood at the corners, finding some other way. Okay, so put that there, and there, and there, and there. Now you may be asking yourself, why is this guy not putting the logs sideways? You can put logs sideways now, and I'm very deliberately not putting them sideways. And the reason for that is I don't want this texture on the sides, like there, or there. Like they would, it wouldn't be full all around. Which at the same time, you may also say, you can just do this. And you're very right. And I might try that. So, I might try that. I might try that. We will see. If this works, then I'll just leave it be. But if it doesn't, we'll give that a go and see if that's any better. I'm hesitant to do that because, you know, same thing with the wood cutter or the stone cutter and the stairs. You lose a block of wood when you do that. It's an investment. So it's not something that you can do experiment with without a little bit of surplus material. Right. Now, of course, I'm doing it sideways here because you don't see this on the outside. We might find a way to cover that up inside, or we might use another one of those blocks that I just showed you how to craft. Okay, so like this. Let's seal this gap up. Doop. So like this, how does it look? All right, so the bands are fine. They look okay. I'm probably going to get rid of them. It's still these. It's these. It looks too unbalanced, and it doesn't look like the wood is really integrated with the structure at all. It looks like they're just kind of tacked on the sides, which makes me think that we will take the simplest way out, which is to just get rid of them. They don't look good. They're a waste of resources, then they go. And that is the way it goes. And we'll just have that block be there. Why not? We'll put a lantern there or something. Yeah, that might actually be kind of cool. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Yeah. And it might be interesting to have, you know, since I described this as Baroque, to have it all be various stone things. Bricks exempted. That's a word. I just made it up. It means exempted, but you're an idiot. Right, so we are going to get rid of all this again. Always good to experiment in this game. Always good to test. Good to figure things out. Some people like to do this in creative, but I really prefer just to stay in world, just to kind of, you're doing it with what you have. And so if you're experimenting with what you have, you know you can build it. Because they are all blocks readily available to you. You can put something together in creative, but if you can't get those blocks easily, you're in for a bad time. You're going to 22 jungle temples for your 64 stack of chiseled stone bricks. So I would recommend against it. Now, of course, when I say that, now I think like, hey, they've added so many things in this game to make those blocks more accessible. Maybe for reasons like that. So maybe I should try building in creative as a test. But for now, I won't. Because I don't want to. Yay. Alright. Getting everything back together. Back in shape. There we go. Perfect. And we'll take a look at it. Let's see. Yep, that's a citadel. That is a Minecraft building on the water. Now, of course, you and I probably both have notes for this. I know I do. One, I've talked about depth a lot. Still not a lot of depth in this building, especially in that 3x3 of flatness right there. Not great. We'll have to see. We might look into figuring out some more ways to improve things. Secondarily, the color palette. It's pretty boring. Gray and dark gray. And brown. Now, I know, I've already said that this is going to be covered up by stuff, but still, it's a little boring. But it is on theme with those. So, for want of to not be here all day, we are going to accept this design, and we are now going to add the brick capper to it as the final step. And then I will probably call it there, and should I reconvene and start another recording, I'll record myself doing the rest of these. I'll make sure I have some stuff on hand. Maybe the dirt isn't garbage after all. Alright. Another thing, there is scaffolding in this game now. Honest to God, a block called scaffolding. But that block isn't dirt. So I don't really use it. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I think that we're going to have the brick. The brick is going to go out a bit. So to save ourselves on brick, we are going to use this. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's what we're working with. I am going to put this down, and then working like this off of it, you're going to put a layer of upside down brick stairs around this whole thing. And that should be just peachy. Alright. Since I'm planning on doing it all around, we're going to do a full stack of brick stairs. Bold, I know. But that's just the kind of risk you have to take when playing this game. Alright, so. Just take it around like this. There we are. I gotta say, this is, I apologize for the strong boomer kind of topics of discussion. And throughout this whole thing, I've been generally reminiscing about old Minecraft, and this is no different. Um, but I feel it's nice to, think about how far this game has come, how much it's changed and how much it hasn't. And one thing that it hasn't changed is using stairs for anything but stairs. And one way it has changed is that now you can use stairs upside down, and so that glorious purpose of using stairs for anything but stairs is even more glorious now, as it can be very easily fulfilled. I gotta say, I really like that, actually. Huh. I'm kind of digging that. It's not perfect, but I'm kind of digging it. I think we're going to go with that. Yeah. Why not? It's fun. And I know. Torches, not the classiest lighting for your structures, but I prefer them. They're nice. They give a feeling of, I don't know, medieval castle. They're fine by me. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good wrap-up point. We've started one half of this, and I have rambled for an hour and 16 minutes. Impressive. So, for want of to not waste your time and my time anymore, I think we're going to call it here. I'll be back, or I won't. Whatever. Also, it's raining in Minecraft, which, if I remember right, is awful for YouTube compression. Like, genuinely terrible. So I hope the video looks really bad right now. Like, I hope it looks just awful. Just unwatchable. Impossible to discern anything going on. That's my sincere hope, is that YouTube compression has just destroyed this video. Because that would be funny. That would be very funny. Anyway, we're going to ride back here. And I think I'll climb back up to where we started. And I will say goodbye. Again, progress pretty good today. Pretty good. I'll be honest, it takes me a long time to build these things, because, especially in these early planning stages, you're really just getting a feel for it. Getting an idea of what you really want. How you want the build to go. There it is. There it is way off in the distance. So, thanks very much for watching. And next time, if there is a next time, which maybe there will be, maybe there won't, we will go in and see about maybe at least finishing up that base. Finishing it up. Making sure I've got enough resources and stuff to really kind of start going with the rest of it. Because there's a lot of planning today, but not a ton of doing. So, alright. Goodbye, everyone.